This day in 2018, July the 29th, was a very, very sad day to all the great people involved in Memphis Wrestling, involved in the WWE, the fans, the staff, the wrestlers. Heartbreaking and a shock for me as a young man that I'd known since he was probably 8 or 9 years old. Brian Christopher Lawler passed away. Brian was born on January the 10th, 1972. He passed away on July the 29th, 2018, at 46 years old. Very, very sad. Our prayers and our love for the family as we remember Too Sexy Brian Christopher. And that's not the only person we lost on that date in 2018. Brickhouse Brown, the Brickster. He was born August 11th, 1960. He passed away July 29th, the day we lost Brian Christopher, in 2018, age 57 years old. As we've been watching Brick on the Power Hour, and we will see him today. So this show today is dedicated to Brickhouse Brown and also our buddy Brian Christopher Lawler. Love to both of those as this show is dedicated to them today. And now the Power Hour starts.
Power Pro Wrestling. Power Pro Wrestling. Power Pro Wrestling. The Power Hour.
All right, hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Power Hour Watch Along. I'm Adam Dunn, along with Randy Hells. We got a big show coming up tonight, Randy.
Hey, I'm so excited. Adam Dunn is live in Master Control in Rome, Georgia. Randy Hales, ORH, is live in, what are we going to call this? Studio A? Is that a good name of it?
That'll work.
And we're fired up with a very exciting show and here to tell you about it because, folks, I can tell you, can't miss. Plus, we got some previews and plugs about tomorrow night's show coming up during this program. But right now, Adam's going to tell you the major thing we'll see today. Hey, Al, hey, Andrew, hey, everybody, Matt, and everybody else. For the third time, here's Adam Dunn.
All right, Randy. Thanks, everybody. Glad everyone could join us for the Power Hour. We're going to be taking a look tonight at episode 128 from October 7th, 2000. We're going to see Rob Harlem. He'll be around, as well as Brickhouse Brown for an interview. Then we'll have that Ultimate Victory tournament. It will continue as we see Rob Harlem in action against Brickhouse Brown. The Superstar, Bill Dundee, will be along out for an interview along with the Starlighters, as well as another tournament match. We'll see Slash going against Bulldog Reigns. The Spellbinder will be out for an interview. We'll see him in action with Derek King and Alan Steele. They'll be taking on the Birdman, Coco Beware, Charlie Laird, and Khan. Miles Long will be in action against Bill Dundee. And Dave Brown will not be with us today. Instead, Corey Macklin will be joined by the Spellbinder. And, of course, the big news for today's program, the King, Jerry Lawler, makes his return to the Power Hour after being gone for over a year, Randy.
Man, it will be exciting, fired up. PJ is in the house. You know she'll be excited. We will too. Man, it's the later part of the show. Can't wait. Here we go. The King is back.
Power Pro Wrestling.
Hello, everybody. Corey Macklin and ringside. Dave Brown has the day off today. He's on vacation, back next week. But look at what I've got here next to me. The Power Pro Heavyweight Champion, the Spellbinder, is in the house. He's special co-host of the show today. Hey, good to have you here today,
Thanks,
buddy.
Corey. You know what? This is a special show. Guess who's back in town?
Oh, yeah, the boy's back in town. The return of Jerry, the King Lawler. That's coming up here today on the Power Hour. Call all your friends. Tell them we're on early, 30 minutes early today. Hey, the Ultimate Victory Tournament continues today. The semifinal matches, we've got 2 of them. There it is. It's brought to you by Mid-South Motorsports over in Marianna, Arkansas. And that good-looking motorcycle, boy, will be driven out of here
Hello,
next
Frank
week from the
Seaton.
Power Hour. 2 semifinal matches today. Rob Harlem. You got Brickhouse, you got Slash, Bulldog Reigns, and a huge 6-man tag team match coming up on the Power Hour. And not only that, fans, this is going to be a big one also. A super grudge
in the
match.
house. It's
Right
a
here today.
Spellbinder,
As
Adam.
long as we're
Until I
talking week
previewed the
after
show
week.
last
Well,
night, do
today,
you remember
he'll
the
fight
Spellbinder
smack dab
opening
in the
the
middle of
show
the
as
ring,
the
toe-to-toe
co-host? Do you
against the
remember this?
superstar.
I did not.
Bill
Did not remember the
Dundee.
Spellbinder
That's
being the
coming up
co-host,
also.
and he does a heck of a
And
job.
can't
But
wait
of
for
course,
this special edition
it's
of the
easy to
Power
overlook
Hour today
that,
as the
considering what all
return.
that does
Yes,
happen
sir,
on this
the
show.
King,
Returning today,
Jerry
Jerry the King
Lawler. We'll be hearing from the King. I've spoken with him this morning, and he'll be making his arrival around 11 a.m. here to the studios of TV5.
I tell you what else is
Referee
returning.
Shane
We're
Bond
watching
makes his
Lawler
way to the ring,
return,
and
but we're
here
tickled
we
to
go,
death,
the
Adam, for the
Ultimate
first time in
Power.
3 weeks. We are back streaming live
tell you what,
on
he's got
Twitter.
somebody
So
new
thank
today,
you
Corey.
for helping me figure out how to become a check mark member, premium member of X that I know you don't attest to or have anything to do with, but we're certainly glad to be back on Twitter.
Trainer here, and I'm gonna win. I'm gonna be pumped up, buff, ready to do the thing, and that's for you. I haven't forgotten what you done to me a couple weeks ago. You got dues to pay, punk, and as a matter of fact, that belt, after this tournament is over with, not only am I taking that motorcycle down 51, but I'm taking that belt with me.
Hey,
And I
Mike,
might
what's
take a little
going
bit of
on?
real high
Michael
end,
Butler
too.
and
All right
also
with us.
Mike
Come on with it.
Fencer.
Bring it on. And by the way, your trainer, I could teach him some of that.
Watching on
And I'll give him a
Facebook,
beating too. So just come and get
watching
some.
on
That's Rob
YouTube,
Harlan with some
watching
words
on
for the
Twitter and
Spellbinder,
Twitch,
but I got news for
watching
Rob
on the
Harlan.
radio,
He better pay
YouTube,
attention
and
today
the
in his
Classic
semifinal
Memphis
match,
Wrestling
because boy, does he have a
YouTube
biggie.
match.
His opponent making his way around now to the ring area, the Brickster.
As Matt says, the end of this episode and the end of next week's episode is one of my all-time favorites of Power Pro. Matt, remind me where you live.
Well, Brick, you got a semifinal match coming up today, big boy.
Let me tell you something, Corey. Right now, the thing I want to say, wake up Grandma Sarah, call Aunt Lula Bell, and Uncle Joe, let them know the man that they finally want to see. Brickhouse is back on the show. Let me tell you something else, Corey. Married men fear me because I cause them to lose sleep at night. And single women love me, and they get my money right. I'm going to make short work of this dude right here, right now, because I'm telling you something, I want that motorcycle, and I want everybody to stay in tune with my Miss Brickhouse contest coming up in this city real soon on Monday night.
Oh, yeah, Brickhouse.
How about that interview from the Brickster?
He did good, didn't he, as we dedicate this show to the memory of Brickhouse
We've
Brown.
got action as I open it out on the Power Hour spell.
I'll tell you what, Corey. Whatever Brick said, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Referee says ring the bell, and here we go.
How about that?
Semifinal match
I
for the
love
Ultimate
that.
Victory Tournament.
Spellbinder
We're
says,
on
whatever
today
he
on the
said,
Power Hour.
I
Be
couldn't have
sure to
said it
call
that
on
good
your friends.
myself.
Tell your buddies.
I love
Let's
that.
go. 30
Spell
minutes
does
of
good.
delay
Great.
Until
Yeah,
11
he does
I'm
great on
telling
the
you,
desk here
it's
today.
going to be action-packed today. One count. There's a 2-1, referee confirms. Only one, and Brickhouse back on his feet. Big drop kick. A little dancing from the Brickster there. And finally, Mo shoves him down. Nice arm drag from Brickhouse Brown, and down he goes.
Corey,
Spell.
I'll
Andrew,
tell you
I've
what,
been good, man.
I'm going to make an early prediction here.
All right.
I know for a fact Brickhouse will beat.
It's crazy, and I know it's
Rob.
been 24 years
But I tell you
ago.
what, I can see.
I do not
Brickhouse
remember
running down 240 in that Harley.
Spellbinder
Yeah,
being on
Brickhouse
this
has
show,
defeated
but
Charlie
certainly I
Laird, and
remember
he's also
the
defeated
final
Miles
segment of the show with the
to get
Return
to
of the
where he
King.
is
I
today,
remember
which is the
everything about it.
semifinals.
Alan?
And if he wins today, he
Yeah,
goes
I
on to
agree,
the
and,
finals next week of this
you know,
Ultimate Victory
this
Tournament.
program, the end of it is, but this part of the
Brickhouse is up.
program's not
And
on
I'm telling you,
YouTube, so
somebody will be riding out
this
here
will be
next week.
probably a lot
in
of
that
people's first
motorcycle.
time
Boy,
seeing
that
it.
looks
They didn't
pretty,
watch
I'll
it
tell you that.
live on
I'm telling
October
you,
7th,
look at Mo,
2000.
oh, big right hand there. Referee Shane Bond right on
Definitely
top of
a
him.
very
He backs him up, whips the Brickster in,
interesting
across
day
the way.
in Memphis
Comes
wrestling
back.
history.
Nobody home. Brickhouse Schoolboys
This is
him
a
up.
good match
He's
as
got
well.
him one.
Adam, it's
Two, but that's
89
only
degrees
one.
and sunny in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Clothesline from
What is
Rob
it
Harlem. I
there?
tell you, no Dion Harlem today, who's the brother of
We
Rob.
have
A little
rain here
dissension in their
currently,
camp
and
there,
the
huh?
temperature I'm not
You know,
quite
these
sure. I
two
guess
fought
it's
in the
probably in
first
the mid to upper
round
80s.
of this Ultimate Victory tournament, and hey, maybe there was a little bad blood between
Absolutely.
between
Greg
the
White
blood,
remembers
as
the
we'll
old
say.
CWA
Two blood
angle
brothers there.
with
Big
Brickhouse
right
Brown.
hand from Big Rob Harlem, and he nails Brickhouse Brown that time with a right fist. Drops
I
the
like
leg
how
down
you
on him, and
phrase
he's got a
that.
pin, a one.
This is 2024,
a two, and
Greg.
Brickhouse is up. All he can get is a 2 count.
Well, I'll tell you what, Corey, with all the experience, all the know-how, all the battles that Brickhouse has been through, it's not going to be easy just to
I'll have
get
to
one,
send
two,
a
three.
copy
Oh,
of
no
this
doubt about
show
it.
after it's
He
over to
certainly is
Spellbinder.
a veteran wrestler, and so is this Rob
Yeah, I
Harlem.
think he would
This
like to
big
see it.
guy can go. You're talking about
Yeah.
well over
This has
325
been Wrestling
pounds.
Day
Can he
for me.
get
I
up
talked to
and
Cody
go?
Golden today. I've talked to
Oh,
Doug
it's a
Gilbert
1
today.
count.
I've talked to Downtown Bruno
Thanks for joining me here at ringside.
today, and I've talked to Doug Gilbert today. Did I say Doug?
Yeah,
I've talked to a bunch of people today.
Oh, you'll be
You
here the
have.
whole hour today on the Power
Absolutely.
Hour.
There's a guy in the ring
Good to have you
right
here.
now
I
that's
see you're
going
not
to be
plugged up
having something to do with some
TIP,
stuff
but
coming
get
up
used to that.
soon.
That takes a little hard
Absolutely.
to get acclimated to sometimes. Body slam. Look at that. Well, Brickhouse not looking too good
As
right
a
now.
matter of fact,
There's Rob Harlem.
Rob Harlem,
Harlem's up on the
I
middle
hadn't
rope
looked at it
now,
yet.
and Brickhouse
I
down in the
thought
middle
I
of the
saw
ring.
Rob having a little
that
trouble
he
getting up
sent
on
me
that turnbuckle.
something.
Yeah, he sure
But I
does.
don't
A
see
lot
it.
of weight to get up
He
there.
should have got that personal
Rob
training a little
Harlem,
earlier.
former Sir
Oh,
Mo,
he
been on the mission.
misses. Drops the elbow down, and nobody there. Brickhouse gets out of there. Boy, Brickhouse can get to his feet and gather his rhythm back here. I tell you, Rob Harlem can find himself in trouble.
Here he comes. Here he
I
comes.
think it's
Corey.
interesting.
Bricks back on
Spellbinder
his
said
feet.
earlier
He
he
stops
could
him with a right
guarantee
hand.
that Brickhouse Brown would win this
Fans in
match.
the studio behind Brickhouse Brown. Ultimate
Little
Victory
guarantee.
Tournament semifinals today on the Power Hour, and the winner of this bout advances to the
Referee
final
Shane
match
Bond.
next
Randy,
week
what was
here
Shane
on the
Bond?
Power Hour.
Was he
Small
local?
package he's got in.
Friend of C.B. Wyatt and Gary King.
This personal trainer as Rob Harlem
Was around a
called it.
lot.
He jumps up on
and
the ring apron,
This was
stops the
when
count.
when
Oh,
Aubrey
Brickhouse
wasn't
grabs
around.
him.
He was a nice guy.
Referee trying to get in
I
in
believe this
between
may be the
Ian Brick.
debut of Flex there as he just took a bump off the ring
Rob
apron.
Harlem nails his trainer.
Debut of who?
Brickhouse.
I believe
With
that's
a boot to the
Flex.
midsection now, and Follows with a DDT. Could
Oh, he's
this
got
do
him.
it?
What in the world
Oh,
is Coco
no,
doing
look
here?
out.
You
Here
see,
comes
this is
Coco
exactly
B.Y.
what makes me angry.
with a big
I've seen
board.
enough of this.
And he slams it. Oh, there goes Spellbinder. Spellbinder's out.
Interference from the Birdman. Here comes Spellbinder.
He'll try to even things up. He nails Coco. He picks the board up. Ooh. Right across the back of Rob Harlem. Well, my co-host has just jumped in there to kind of even things up. Coco's out of there. That's two of them. And a three. Brick House.
People will say, and I know Bully Ray on Busted Open gets on the referee. That didn't bother
Like I
me
said, Corey,
because it was a babyface finish.
Well, I tell you one thing. He wanted. Hey, look out.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Hello, Frankie.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
come on. Coco jumps on Spellbinder right over our
Dadgummit,
desk.
what are you doing beating up my friend?
Hey,
Now
Coco,
two of them
Off
beating
on
up
the
my
loose.
friend.
Now Rob Harlem with the belt.
Let's break this stuff up. We don't need
Is
this.
this
out
it
here.
on Spellbinder on the commentary?
Coco wearing. Rob Harlem,
I believe
let's take
so.
a break. Get some help out here for here comes Brickhouse back. We'll be back with more on the Power Hour. Stay with us.
What a opening segment, Adam. Fantastic. What did you think?
Fantastic opening segment, and like we said, good to see Spellbinder out there doing the commentary. Dave Brown not able to be there that week, and for the show to be on a half hour early and of course be live, looked like we still had a great crowd on hand there that day, and of course a big part of that I'm sure was due to the King returning. I believe at this time it had been it was over a year, maybe almost 18 months. It had been a while since the King had been on TV5 Wrestling, and this was a marquee banner day that the King was to return to Power Pro Wrestling and to return to TV5.
Do you remember being a part of the audience that particular day, Adam?
I believe I can't imagine that I wasn't there. I'm pretty sure that I was.
Greg White said not a good idea just to set at desk, and I agree with you on that, Greg. Andrews calls them bullies, absolutely. Frankie
Yeah.
says hello to us. Greg, you mentioned that,
I
and I
think
think
after missing last week, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw PJ was here.
PJ is here. She came in right at the close after we pretty much
Yeah.
went off the air. What do you
Right.
think about us being live again on Twitter, Adam?
I think it's fantastic. Already, I can see the difference in our numbers there. We're on 3 Facebooks, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. We're all over the place, and I'm glad to have us back on Twitter, where people can comment and watch the show. Todd wants to know what the ratings were during this period. I imagine probably got a little bit of a bump with the King returning.
I think we did a 8 rating for that particular show.
Okay.
During the Cornette era, that it got down into the 2s.
Yeah. Yeah, it got pretty rough there during the Cornette era, and then things started to pick back up. And then, of course, Dundee returned, a few weeks ago, and then the announcement was made a few weeks ago that the King would be returning as well.
Matt, be sure you watch tomorrow on
Yes.
Talking Memphis Wrestling at 7 o'clock Central. We have Terry Golden, the owner and founder of KEW Kick-Ass Wrestling and MCW Wrestling. We're running a event together. We'll make that major announcement. Talk a lot about this time period. So it should be a fascinating show as we take a pause from our greatest moments. And these are great moments we'll talk about tomorrow, Adam.
Speak with that board never made no sense into that boy's head. He wants to do it the hard way. Well, Trey Keller, Miles Long, whatever you want to call yourself, brother, in about 20 minutes we're going to have a wrestling match, and you're going to find out why they call me the superstar.
Hey, Greg.
Ladies, our little plan will work if we do it right.
Superstar Bill Dundee, we're going to see him in a grudge match coming up right here today on the Power Hour. He's got Miles Long right there in the middle of the ring. We're going to continue with more action. We've got semifinal action of the Ultimate Victory Tournament continues, and here is Slash making his way to the ring area. He's got Brandon Baxter along with him today.
Said this 100 times, Randy, but I always think it's a mark of a great announcer when they can carry a show by themselves. Corey doing a fantastic job.
Brought to you by
Honestly,
Mid-South Motorsports over in Marietta,
when Dave and Corey did it together, Dave was the best announcer. But when you compare shows where they did similar, just themselves, I think Corey did better than Dave, handling it just by himself. Which is shocking since Dave is about the most professional announcer I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Happy to see Bulldog. I tell you, Bulldog has advanced in his Ultimate Victory Tournament to the semifinals, and he's got the support of all the fans
Ultimate
here at
Victory
ringside.
Tournament, I'm going to make
Howa,
Adam jealous right now. Adam,
still to come,
my air
Jerry
conditioner's
the
on.
King
All
Lawler
in this
right here
place.
today.
All my
We'll talk
monitors
to the
are working.
King.
My
Has it
TV's
been well
working.
over a year
My
since we've had him
microphone, my
Studios
microwave
of
is
TV5
working.
and TV5.
Everything is
Big
working.
backdrop from Bulldog Range.
Your microwave is working.
Look at him go up
Yes.
to Slash. Formerly known as Wolfie D, I may add, and fans, in case you hadn't heard or seen him around the wrestling action here in a while. Bulldog Range hooks him in across
Be a
the
great
way.
match here. The
Bomb,
former
and down
Wolfie
he
D
goes.
Slash here in
Wrestling
Power
right over
Pro.
Joyner, Arkansas.
He would be, of
Joyner,
course, in
Arkansas,
TNA
sponsored
later
by the
as
fire
Slash. And we
department.
have
7:30 's
Bulldog
bell time.
Range
It's at the
from Carlton, Georgia.
Joyner High
against
School. You want to
Wolfie
get
D
down there and get
Slash.
your tickets and be there. One count, there's 2. Nothing like being around and seeing it live. I'm telling you, a packed studio
26
today.
people are
Here
watching
at
right now,
TV5
Adam, on
Studios
Twitter.
Union Avenue, but tonight, there's Resident Joyner over at the high
Good.
school. We'll have more information on that coming up later on about Joyner, Arkansas.
Major and some of our audience
Bulldog
members
misses.
of Team Hell's
Hits that
talking
corner,
about
boy,
it.
Slash
The
puts
final
boots to
segment of
it.
the show is great. So, folks, if you
Man.
know wrestling fans,
Talk about
whether
a veteran
you're
wrestler, this
watching
guy can go.
on
Slash.
Facebook, Three Choices,
There's no
Twitter,
more Wolfie D.
the
He's
2
known
YouTube
as
channels, or
Slash.
Twitch,
And he's
be
got
sure to
Brandon
share
Baxter
this
over in
show
his corner. That's not
because
a
the
good
final
sign at all.
segment of this show is just absolutely
Take an
great.
elbow,
As
he
Greg
went running
agreeing
in.
with you that Corey was great.
Bulldog Range. Semi-tournament match going on right now. Semi-finals.
Yeah, since you mentioned it, Randy, just real quick, I'll throw on the screen everywhere that you can watch this show on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. That's the 3 main spots you can catch us
on
streaming
fire
live.
today. Everybody's excited.
All right.
Enthusiasm is in the air. The
I love that.
return of the King to the Power Hour. I've had fans.
I love it when you sneak up on me, Adam, and throw professional stuff. Imagine that. Professional stuff on the Radio Health program. It's not for me, Bubba.
That's won it in a row.
Bulldog Range.
I'm sitting here with the different wood
finals of this match.
on one side of my mouth and a piece of watermelon on the other side, Adam. Is that professional?
Rob Harlem of the Regulators, so Brickhouse advances to the finals. We'll see whose opponent's going to be next week. As this 5-week tournament continues, the 4th week now.
Brandon Baxter ringside, referee.
Brandon Baxter over
Looks to
beating
be
on the
Will
ring
Gibson.
canvas.
I mentioned this to you before as you were talking about announcers. When Cornette, for the 3 months he was writing the television booking, the TV booking, we talked about Dave and Corey. You know who his favorite announcer is, don't you, Adam?
Out of Dave and Corey and you?
Yeah, this period, Power Pro.
Barely. He raises his shoulder, and I'm telling you,
He
Brandon
thought I
Baxter was
acted
a little
excitable,
concerned.
but heck, I never had an issue with
He was halfway in the ring that time.
Corey
Had his
being
foot up on the
excitable.
Right.
Sometimes I told him to calm down. And Dave was just get his personality, and it never bothered me.
Well, you know, just we've said also so many times, you know, Lance and then later years Dave, that was just always such credibility. Dave working for the TV station, being the weatherman there, and you know the lead person in that market for so many years. Just having him associated with the wrestling and being the straight man. And then Corey, I always thought did a great job of giving more of a fan's perspective of being more animated. But like I said, when it came time for Corey to do the show by himself, arguably Corey did the show by himself, like you said, maybe even better than Dave at times.
Wolfie D, he's looking, what in the world is he? He's got that stupid fork again, that foreign object that he carries around. Jabs Bulldog Range with it. Oh, he goes for that neck breaker. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. Turn off the lights. It's over now. That's a 3.
We saw Brickhouse Brown defeat Rob Harlem in the opening tournament match. Then in this match,
from Slash and Slash,
we saw Slash
formerly known as Wolfie
with
D,
help
advances to
defeat
the
Bulldog
finals
Range.
of the Ultimate
So
Victory
you
Tournament
previewed more of
next
this
week
show
on the
than I
Power
did, but
Hour.
you're right when you told me last night. This is
Okay,
an awesome
understand,
show,
standing by.
and the best is yet to come, Adam.
Spellbinder. Yeah, where is Spell?
Absolutely it is. Now Spellbinder was hurt.
You want to put your hands on the Power Pro champion? Well, you know what? You think I'm stupid? I know you have. A 3-man grudge match. You know what? Ricky Morton, I asked him. No, I told Ricky Morton that he wasn't in this match, that I'm taking his place, so you get ready.
Good comment, Greg White. Greg talking about Corey. Thomas Lemon in the house.
Yeah, still to come, the return of Jerry the King Lawler. When we come back, stay with us on the
It's
Power
been a
Hour.
year since Jerry Lawler had been on Power Pro. We'll tell that story someday. Or you can buy my book, Randy Hell's Living the Dream.
There you go.
This is episode 128 from October the 7th. The year was 2000. Adam, as coming up on the show, we have the Spellbinder. We just saw him. Then he's going to team with Derek King and Alan Steele against Coco, Charlie Laird, and Khan. We have Miles Long against Will Dundee. And the King returns to Power Pro Wrestling, Adam.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff coming up. You know, Spellbinder just said he was going to take Ricky Murdoch, originally scheduled in that match. And there's a pretty good confrontation coming up here between Miles Long and the Superstar. And the Superstar outsmarts him. And we'll see how that happens as we go through here. Of course, a lot of times we haven't gotten these much lately. We have the commercials on here. And look here, that is breakfast starting was at $3.99 at IHOP. I don't think you can get a drink for $3.99 at IHOP now.
No, but it's been almost 25 years, right? Or it has
Right.
been 25 years, hasn't it?
It has been. I actually was eating at IHOP Saturday or Sunday with somebody and was looking to get the sampler, and I actually made the comment to them. I remember when IHOP, and it may still be there, was over at Perkins and 240. Said I can remember getting the breakfast special at IHOP with my dad. And I think it was $5 or $6, and it was I think $13 or $14. But yeah, time moves on, and 20 years on, here we are.
Todd asked how many actual house shows did the King do for Power Pro? This period of time that he'd been gone for over a year, so obviously he didn't do any of them. From the beginning of Power Pro, Adam, is your memory that he was on probably 98% of them?
I would say so, yeah. Because, I mean, all the Coliseum shows, of course, any casino show he would have been on, and then anything that Buddy did or you did, I think. I mean, there may have been a couple Osceola shows or something he may not have went to, but anything else, I would imagine he was there.
Sometimes he had a conflict with the WWF
Right.
at the time, but he made every Jonesboro show. He was the top guy. I think there's no
Right.
doubt on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm
And
sure
Kakina's
you.
watching us on Twitch. So
All right, go King.
fired on all cylinders.
I'm sure you like that commercial. As we get back to the show, you like the commercial of Action News 5, Adam.
Of course.
Well, Tina, we appreciate you watching from Twitch. The only person ever watching from Twitch. So you need to share the show with your buddies.
Still, Derek King and the Spellbinder. The Spellbinder has put his wrestling tights and boots on, and he's in this match. He wants Coco Ware. And across the
Hey,
way,
Scott's
you got
Art,
the General
thank you
Coco
for all the
Beware,
great work
Charlie
you've done
Laird,
for us. He's done a
and
fantastic
that
job,
Strange
Adam.
Con, whose
Yeah, he
Spellbinder
has.
goes over and nails. Spellbinders in the ring is
The
starting
former
out
Birdman, now the
as
General
co-host of the show
Coco
today, joining me here
Beware
at ringside.
with Charlie Laird.
And I'm telling you, he wants a piece of Coco Ware. And the General just screams at Charlie
We've
Laird and said,
seen
Charlie,
a lot
get
of
in there.
action so
See what you
far
can do
on
with
this
them, because
program
I
today.
can't.
It was hot, a
He
good
couldn't take
crowd.
it.
And it's
Spellbinder. Boy,
amazing
look
that
at
this
him go to
was
work on
started
Charlie Laird.
30 minutes early. Adam?
Yeah, started
Tag
30
man
minutes
on Mr.
early. We got
Personalities,
a
Derek
crowd
King.
on all sides of the studio,
Derek,
and we've had
Coco.
amazing action because, of course, knowing there'd be a lot of eyeballs on this
I'm not gonna answer that.
to the run-up to the
Stupid
King
stuff
being
like
on
that.
in the final segment.
Hey, fans,
So,
we're 7 minutes away.
fantastic
I understand
show,
at
I
11
think,
a.m.
was
the
put on
King
here for the
has
whole
told me
program.
that he'll arrive to the studio.
From this point forward,
And I
Adam,
understand
you're
he's,
not
on
allowed to
target,
come
so
to
we'll
Memphis
try to get
on
a
show
camera out
days,
and
Monday or Tuesday,
catch
and you're
up
not
with the
allowed
King
to do
and
the
his
show
arrival here
from
to the
your
studios
home.
on
You have to
TV5
be,
here today.
and I know in
Charlie
winter
Laird,
that's tough,
the boot
and
to the
really
midsection.
hot days it's
Big
tough,
jump
but it
Well,
makes it
I'd rather be out here in the winter.
Honor,
It's
reversal
the
again.
summer.
Alan
It's
still
so
comes
hot
off.
with all this
Big
equipment.
elbow. Man, he stops him there. Good looking move from Allen.
It's just so much a better show when honestly I can feed off of you and you can feed off me. It's just more enjoyable for the audience when you're here. So I'm glad you're here today.
Boy,
I'm glad I'm here, too.
miles for that one from Northwest Airlines, I'm sure.
All right.
He went flying, an American or someone.
I want to get my line in, but you told me that I
That's coming up.
couldn't.
A reversal
Right.
whips him in. He comes back, ducks the
Right.
clothesline, ducks him again. Derek comes back. Ah, man.
If it was Pat, I wouldn't have cared.
Big
I would.
move from Khan. This guy can go. Boy, I tell you, he can wrestle. No doubt about it. You got to give the devil his due. I
Yeah,
just don't
Scott,
like
you
his
did
style.
fantastic.
That's two of them. He wrestles
We will
dirty and he pulls that
debut
old Oriental
Scott's
spike move.
Artwork
That's
that he
certainly
did
no
for
good.
me. We'll,
That move has
Scott,
been
you need to make
banned
sure you watch the
by
show
the
tomorrow
Power Pro
night.
officials. If
Tomorrow
that
night,
does
7
any
o'clock,
good,
same
pulled
place
it
you're
over
watching us right
Eddie
now.
Adams
Tomorrow
out
at
here
7
last week. It
p.m.
wasn't in the
Talking
ring.
Memphis Wrestling.
Big close
get the
line
debut of
from
that
Coco
artwork,
Beware,
plus
the General.
For the first
And
time,
Spellbinder
Terry
jumps in
Golden
from
from
behind.
Memphis
Yeah, how does that
Championship
feel
Wrestling
now,
and
Coco? He jumped.
KAW will be on the
The
show with Randy.
Spellbinder over here.
I think we
Dennis.
might have some captions promoting tomorrow night. Adam?
Big boot from Derek. Power slam from Charlie Laird. He hooks the leg. That's a 2 count, and Derek King's up. 2 is
Indeed,
all
we
he
do.
can get.
Like we just said, special guest
Didn't
Terry
get him a
Golden,
stick.
and a big live announcement
Spellbinders,
on a
that's Ricky
huge
Murdoch.
Memphis
To
Wrestling
step
Hall of
aside
Fame
and take
event
his place and allow
coming in
him to be a part of
September.
this
So
six-man
big
tag
show
team
tomorrow
down there.
night.
Russian leg
Be sure
sweep.
to join us.
Andrew says, Randy, who is your wrestler in
There's a
Power
tag
Pro
from Khan.
Wrestling?
It's
Are
up to
you
Jerry.
asking
There's
who
a
my favorite
temporary
wrestler
injunction
was?
on the Oriental
Who's Jerry
spike.
Lawler.
Khan goes to use it, though. He has a fit about that stuff, I'm telling you.
Scott likes to tag team with me and you, Adam.
Spellbinder
He's
asking
easy
for
to
the
please.
tag, and all that's getting the fans behind him, trying to get him going.
He told me he
Boy,
likes how
does
you
use
never
that.
yawn.
I mean, badly. Six-man tag team action on the Power Hour. Head fans, thanks for joining me. Corey Macklin at ringside. Brother Dave's got the day off today, and he'll be back with us next week, though. Tag mate, here comes Spellbinder. Charlie Laird
I like how
jumps in.
Corey would do
Coco
that every
Laird's
now
in.
and then, almost like a
Oh, we got
re-intro
a
into
ring
the
full.
show.
Everybody's in
Yes.
there now, looks like. Spellbinder going after the general. Coco trying to get away from him. Yeah, that's not what you wanted earlier, Coco, when you jumped the man over here at ringside over by our desk. Oh, look out. Yeah, Spellbinder gives him a taste of his own medicine. Slams him over at our desk at ringside.
Corey had
Oh,
to scoot out of there, didn't he?
He's on the top rope. He comes down, and Khan's got him.
Yes, he moved quick.
Uh-oh, he's going. Oh, super kick from Derek King. Oh, he's got a pin.
Derek
He's
King
got a
looking good
pin,
in this
right?
match.
Excellent.
For crying out loud. No referee. He finally gets in, and Charlie breaks the cover. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, he had him. There's that twist of fate from Charlie Laird. He hooks the leg this time. Referee William Gibson trying to keep up with all six guys.
Hello,
He's
Kevin
got a
Fowler.
pin. Oh, Derek gets up. Man, I'm telling you. Boy, was that close. He
Hope you're
barely
doing well,
gets his
Kevin.
shoulder up. 2 counts, all he gets. Derek rolls him up. Oh, and he gets a 2. Back on his feet on a clothesline. Boy, what action. All that. He comes off. That spinning bulldog move. And
Matt
down
is
is
putting you
Charlie
over.
Laird.
He loves your knowledge, Adam.
There's a senton
Thanks,
splash.
Todd. Appreciate
He
it.
hooks
Yeah,
the leg.
this
Gets this deal.
era
That's
of
2-3.
Memphis
That's
wrestling
it.
from about
He got it.
95
1,
to
2,
05.
Let's take a break. We'll be back.
That's
and
my
we
era.
will talk on the other side of these commercials.
Miles
to
Young
Jerry
and Bill
the King
Dundee.
Lawler.
The
When
superstar
we come
Miles
back, stay
Young
with us.
coming up pretty quickly, Adam, on the
Yeah.
Power Hour.
Did you see there promoting Moondog Championship Wrestling every Friday night in Osceola? I don't know that Lawler went to all those shows, and someone mentioned Oxford earlier as well. He probably didn't go to those all the time either. But
That was a Buddy Wayne town, and he went with the talent he liked plus cheap talent. Lawler would be a talent he liked, but he
not a
wasn't
cheap
cheap.
talent, right?
Scott Sart says, I was a huge fan of Spellbinder, and I am still a huge fan.
Yeah. Yep, got those commercials again in here. But yeah, we got another segment or so coming up here. We got about 12 or 13 minutes left before we get to the King making his return to the Power Hour. Still looking forward to that. Greg
Well,
says
probably-
MCW was doing weekly house shows in Oxford at the time. Probably so. So here soon we'll be getting into what we call basically developmental version 2 coming up here in the
Starting
next
next week.
Yep.
We tease it next week. So
Right.
right before we get into the Lawler return, why don't you come back to us, Adam, and we'll reset the show
Sure.
at that point.
Right. Okay. That'll be fun.
Power Hour. I like watching these commercials just to look at,
Just how
this-
things have changed.
yeah, totally, just graphics and things on television and the prices. Sometimes we see prices of brand new cars now. If you buy a brand new car, you're liable to spend $100,000, Adam.
You can, very easy. But one thing, you mentioned graphics in that Channel 5 commercial that was on just a little bit ago. Can you believe the Channel 5 logo is still pretty much the exact same? And it's also pretty much, and where it came from, is pretty much the exact same logo as WSB-TV in Atlanta when Burt Ellis and Elcom owned WMC. That's when they changed to the graphic that they still use now.
To answer Todd's question, Memphis Channel 5 was the only market that Channel 5 aired in. Certainly
Yeah.
not in other countries.
Yeah. Memphis Power Pro Wrestling only aired in Memphis. I do think Corey's show
Back
did
on the
have
Power
some
Hour,
syndication.
there's all that
afterwards.
Alan Steele. Bulldog Range, Derek King, all standing there and there.
And not the King returning in a Kia.
Is that the is that Jerry pulling up now, or is that? It's not.
Guarantee you that was a sponsorship deal.
Yeah, it is. It is the King. Jerry Lawler makes his arrival in about 15 months. It's been now since he's been in the studios of TV5, and there he is, the King, Jerry Lawler, making his way through the studio doors. And we will see the King and talk to the King coming up. Here in our next segment of the Power Hour, we got this big grudge match coming up right now in the ring. There's a shot of the ring. Oh, here's Miles Long. Oh, yeah. Miles Long comes over and, hey, you got your hands full today.
First of all, Kevin, it was a MCW. They weren't calling it kick-ass wrestling at that point.
Week, I was in complete
Lawler had a lot to do with that creative, so it was me and Lawler.
What did you do? You jumped me from behind. You put your nose in my business, mate. Well, anyone can jump someone behind. There won't be any boards this week. There won't be any jumping from behind, because you've got to face me man to man in a real match.
As Lawler returned,
it's not looking good for you now, bloke.
He was still with Stacy, but we went not having Stacy on this particular show.
Wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Here come the Starlights. The Starlights come in, and what is this about?
Now wait, I know why you're out here. You've come out here to tell me that Bill is a coward, that he doesn't actually want to face me today, and that he's already packed his bags and headed on back home, right?
No, we don't know where Bill's at. We come to see you.
Come to see me? Sure, girl, that's a shock.
Wait a minute, now we on television, now,
right? This is a shock. I killed a shark just like this one. This is a tooth in his head. Let me tell you what, I think you girls have seen the handwriting on the wall, and you're ready to take the ride that's miles long, aren't you? So I think I'll just take these girls with me, Corey.
Oh, take both of them, are you? Miles Long, I can't believe that. What is it?
Corey, you're not going to take both of them, are you?
And Miles Long has got both of the Starlighters with him.
Superstar playing the mind game.
What's up with that? Here's the superstar, Bill Dundee. And Dundee jumps in the ring and says he wants to know what in the world's going on too. Well, I guess we've got a match here. It's going to be the Starlights over there with Miles Long.
So at this time, I see a couple questions for Amy, so I'll address them. This was before anything had happened with Stacy in WWF. That situation does occur during Power Pro's run, and actually Lawler's first television appearance to address it was on Power Pro Wrestling. We'll see that in the months ahead. Someone asked about Renee. This was all before Renee.
Oh, yeah. Miles Long wants a little confirmation, and hey, a little later on.
Who is Todd saying was bad on the mic?
Together, yeah.
The Starlight Girl.
Kind of chilly day in Memphis for that. Miles shoves him in the corner, and Dundee watches him across the way, and referee Shane Bond looks on. Grudge match between these two has been brewing week after week here in the Power Hour for the last 2 to 3 weeks. Miles Long says, hey, I want a piece of Bill Dundee. I'm the real Australian. And yeah, and he's not worried about him. He's worried about the Starlights. Dundee with a headlock. Whips him into the ropes now. Billy comes off. Nice hip toss and down on Miles Long. He takes him. Good move there from the superstar, and Miles Long smiling about it. Yeah, well, that's crazy. He's smiling. He just got a nice move put on him from Dundee. Because he likes
Bill liked wrestling Miles Long. Miles Long. They had chemistry together.
Referee gets in right between them all. Jabs him right in the eyes. Takes his
Frankie,
hand
you'll see watching the show here, the superstar was playing some mind games with Miles Long. That's the reason for the girls going over to Miles.
Well, look at him pound away on the superstar.
Tony, good here for you, my friend.
Slams him down.
I'm doing well.
I'm telling you, Miles Long looking pretty good.
Certainly.
This guy
Look out time.
He's big, and he's got the potential.
I hadn't heard in years.
He's fighting against one of the best in the business when you talk about the superstar.
From Ashley
Bill
Hudson.
Dundee picks Dundee up. Body slam on Dundee and down. Miles Long doing a little celebrating. Dundee rolls
Could be
it.
wrong. I think during this
Behind
time he was
He's
teamed up with the
schoolboy.
guy,
He's
and they
three.
were
Got
doing
it.
some
He got it.
maybe some shows in
One,
NWA
two,
Nashville.
three.
And you see there
got
the
it.
distraction from the Starlights, the
Talk
Superstar
about
able to get the
quick
win
Dundee.
easily over Miles Long.
Rolled in behind a little high five from the Starlight. Boy, so now I see what this was about, huh?
Corey. Trey.
So I hope that explains that,
Miles Long, Hydric vodka, it don't matter.
Frankie, about
what
the
you're running
girl.
on, brother, is pure testosterone. You gotta think when you're up in there. Now, you're a fair wrestler, brother, and I'm gonna be the first to shake your hand.
Let me tell you something, Dundee. My name is Miles Long, not any other thing. Don't you forget it. These girls, these shooters couldn't beat me. You couldn't beat me.
Don't poke me neither.
These girls couldn't beat me, and you certainly couldn't beat me.
Hey, come on, guys.
You all know where exit 126 is on I-40, right? Well, you know I got a joint up there. Got my name on it? Well, you can have the parking lot job, brother.
Parking lot job. The bloody parking lot job.
Hey. Boy, Dundee. What is he doing? Yeah. Is he trying to break his arm? Boy, Bill's on him. Hey. Dundee's all over Miles Long. I don't know if we'll get this broke up. Let's take a break. Try to get it up to loose. Man, take a break for crying out loud. We'll be back. We've got the King as soon as we come back.
There was a wrestling hold there, Adam Dunn. There was a wrestling hold in that certain deal. So far as we've got through this show, and why don't you, as I look and cue, I'll be the producer for a minute and I'll cue up what's next. I will get that going. In the meantime, you kind of, for the people that just joined us, let everybody know what the great show we've been seeing. We need your microphone on, Adam.
Thank you, producer. That would help. We've had a heck
That
of a show.
was not my fault. Admit to the people, I did not mute you.
Okay, Randy wasn't ripping me on that. That was my fault. We've had a heck of a show here today so far. If you can imagine, this all happened before the King returns. We had several semifinal round tournaments for that Ultimate Victory motorcycle. You saw the situation with the Spellbinder and the Birdman Coco Beware, and everything that just went on with the superstar Bill Dundee. Of course, he got the plug in for going up to his establishment up there in Jackson, Tennessee. So, of course, we have that. But hey, the big thing that we're all here for, Randy, I'll let you introduce that. The King returns to the Power Hour.
The King is back. Roll 'em.
Wrestling, here is Jerry the King Lawler. It's been well over a year and a well-anticipated year after plenty of talks and plenty of negotiations. King, good to see you. Good to have you here. I want to be the first.
We'll
and I'm
lay
telling
out
you,
audio
it's a pleasure, and I
let's
feel honored to
listen
be
how
the
it
first
played
to
out.
say. And I tell you, I really feel like I can speak
On
for all
October
of these
the
great
7th,
wrestling
2000.
fans. I want to say, welcome back home where you belong to the King, Jerry Lawler. How about that, huh?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know what I'd like to do. I don't want there to be a misunderstanding. I don't want to, especially after the great welcome and thank you everybody for all the applause and that sort of stuff. But as I said, I don't want anybody to misunderstand why I'm here. I'm here, I guess, basically to explain why I haven't been here. I mean, I'm right. I'm here to talk about. What I want to do is, and the reason I would like to have this opportunity, and I'm thankful to have this opportunity to come out here and talk to everybody, is because, I mean, not a day goes by that somewhere in Memphis somebody doesn't come up to me on the street and say, "Hey, King, don't see you on Channel 5 anymore. Yeah. Why aren't you on the Channel 5 Wrestling?" And so, basically, this is my opportunity to come out here and explain to everybody that is watching, everybody here today, why I am not, why I haven't been on Channel 5 Wrestling. And quite frankly, if I might go, Corey, you know a lot of this, but maybe go back a little bit in time, and because there are a lot of young people who certainly don't remember, certainly weren't around. It was almost 22 years ago. I walked through the front door of that TV station, or this TV station here on Channel 5, and at that time, wrestling was over on Channel 13.
That's right.
And I came over here, and I met with a gentleman named Phil Slavic, who was the program director, and Maury Griner was the station manager at the time, and they didn't know, well, they knew me from wrestling on TV, but I didn't know either one of those guys. I walked in the front door, and I said, you know, I'd just like to know if you guys would like to have wrestling here on Channel 5. And they took me up into Maury Griner's office, and for the next 22 years, well, for the next 20 years, wrestling enjoyed a great run here on Channel 5. We went through a lot of different station managers, a lot of different program directors. A lot of people probably don't even realize that you know, at that time, I mean, we brought Dave Brown to Channel 5.
Sure did. He was over at Channel 13.
Dave was on Channel 13, and they had the highest rated news because of Dave Brown. And all of a sudden,
over here.
we bring Dave Brown here 20 years ago, and Channel 5 has the top rated news. And,
that's right.
And for years and years, Memphis was considered the wrestling capital of the world. Memphis wrestling was the most watched wrestling television show anywhere in the country.
It was the most watched and highest rated in the history of wrestling at one time.
Exactly, and I was so proud to be a part of that, and I felt responsible in a great sense, because, you know, it was being a big part of bringing the show here to Channel 5, and there never really was a day that went by that I wasn't proud to say that I was a wrestler and that I was a part of Memphis wrestling here at Channel 5. But to be perfectly honest with you, a day finally did come when I wasn't proud to be a part of Channel 5 Wrestling. And quite frankly, that's when I left Power Pro Wrestling, and the problem was, that's why I'm here to tell people what my feelings were on a thing. If you can remember back, it hasn't been that long ago, Corey, when there was wrestling talent here in this organization, like, let me just give you an example, Kurt Angle. You remember Kurt Angle?
Well, yeah.
Kurt Angle was wrestling right here in this ring, in Memphis Wrestling, Power Pro Wrestling, and Kurt Angle was an Olympic gold medal winner. I mean, this guy now has gone on to the WWF and is one of the biggest stars ever, and probably will be the next WWF champion. But we had Kurt Angle right here in Memphis. But you know, when Kurt Angle was here, you know who was wrestling in the main events? I'll tell you who it was. It was Randy Hales and Brandon Baxter. Do you remember that? And you're right. I thought that was messed up too. And you know, I can understand that people want to be wrestlers, but sometimes that's you know, that's all it should be is a dream. I mean, you know, it should be something that maybe you set as your goal or whatever. But people like Brandon Baxter and Randy Hales should never be wrestling in a main event on a television show. Or anywhere for that matter. Brandon Baxter ought to be, like with the people out here, he ought to be sitting watching wrestling if he wants to be involved in wrestling. He doesn't need to be in a wrestling ring anywhere at any time. And so it was that kind of a situation that I really felt like, you know, I wanted to move on to something different.
Yeah. And with all of that, I'm glad you're back with us now, King.
Well, what I'm saying, I'm not back. I'm just here to explain why I'm not back, and it's because of situations like that with the Brandon Baxter thing, and well, now don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, this is no secret either. I went and I hooked up with another wrestling organization that at the time was wrestling in bars.
Here's Brandon, and I'm sure Brandon's got some response here. Brandon,
I don't really understand what you're doing out here on TV and in front of all these people and to the boys back there in the dressing room trying to cut me down and trying to knock me in front of the world, in front of everybody who's watching this TV, in front of the millions and hundreds of thousands of people that are watching. Why you came out here for the specific reason to cut me down. You know, what have I ever done to you? What have I done to you that would make you come out here and do this?
All right, let me just say this, Brandon. Let me make this clear. Maybe it's not really a personal thing with you, Brandon Baxter, so to speak, or maybe it is. But you made a statement just a second ago. You said, why have I come out here in front of hundreds of thousands of people? Well, let me just enlighten you to the facts of life. But I'm not enlightening you because really, Brandon, you know this is a fact. These people may not know it, but I said in the past wrestling was the most watched show in all of the country, and certainly the highest rated show in Memphis television. But it's not that way anymore, Brandon, and it's thanks to people like you. So there are not hundreds of thousands of people watching this show right now. There may be a few thousand, which is the truth and the reality of the situation. And I feel in my heart, as a wrestler who with almost 30 years of experience in this business, I feel in my heart that it's because of people like you and people like Derek King, who weighs maybe 120 pounds soaking wet, and people like Randy Hales in there trying to be wrestlers, that makes the people turn the channel. That makes the people turn off wrestling.
What you're trying to tell me is you're knocking me for being a wrestler when in fact I'm a wrestling manager, and it was involved in a situation that led me to the ring. Is that what you're knocking me for being a wrestling manager that's too small? I never knew there was any kind of prerequisite to be a wrestling manager. Never understood that.
Why are you throwing Derek King's name in here? I'm not the reason you're not here on Power Pro. Why are you throwing my name in here? I have nothing to do with any of this.
Yes, you do, Derek. You have something to do with it. Brandon Baxter has something to do with it. But like I said, you know, it all boiled down to the time when I'm sitting back there with people like Kurt Angle, with people like Mick Tierney, with guys who, you know, are let's face it, guys that look like wrestlers, and guys like you guys are up in the ring. How much? Let me ask you this: how much you weigh? Tell the truth.
189 pounds.
You weigh 189 pounds, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think you're lying at that. I'd like to put you on a scale. I'd guess you, if you went out to Mid-South Fair, I'd guess your weight as probably about 159 pounds at the most. What the problem is, Derek, is there's a lot of kids in high school that watch wrestling on TV and go out and wrestle in their backyards and would like to be wrestlers, and they're bigger than you are. And instead, we got people like you and Brandon and people up here trying to be wrestlers, and you guys made a joke out of it, is what the problem was, and that's why the ratings went through the floor, and that's why I left. Do you understand? Can you not understand that?
Here comes Rob Harlem of the Regulators now, so I guess we just got a big meeting going in there now.
You know, Lawler, I'm kind of confused here. I mean, you can say what you want about Brandon Baxter. He doesn't look like a wrestler. You can say what you want about Derek King
To be a wrestler either.
because he is a little man. But, hey, I'm 300 plus pounds. I've been to the World Wrestling Federation. I know that I'm a wrestler. I know that I'm a wrestler. I don't care what
All right, let me say this. You were Mo in the World Wrestling Federation. You were in the World Wrestling Federation about 100 pounds ago. But you ate yourself out of a job. That's what happened with you. I mean, that's a sad fact. What we got here is a situation. We got a situation of a company full of guys that are wannabes or never wases or has-beens, and that's why I got sick and tired of it. I mean, I can't say any more than that. And as long as people like Derek King, and as long as people like Brandon Baxter, and I don't even know what your name is now. I remember you as Mo.
Here's the General, Coco Beware, and he's got Charlie Laird with him, and here's Coco.
Good to see you. Hey, you know what? I'm surprised that you're here on Power Pro. What are you doing here? That's why I can't believe why you're here. You're supposed to be on WWF commentating. You're not wrestling no more. So, I mean, what? I mean, I know you're a big star. I know you're a big star in WWF, but you got to remember, King, that Coco Beware was a bigger star than you. And I wrestled in the WWF. In fact, I wrestled in probably about 8 WrestleManias. Hey, do I see you wrestling? No, I see you sitting behind the desk. Is that the real King that I'm used to?
All right, Coco, let me say this. You were a big star in the WWF. I remember that. Coco Beware, and you had Frankie sitting there on your shoulder. And you wrestled all over the world.
That's right.
But you know what? Now I see Coco Beware, and not Frankie, I see Charlie. And I see Coco Beware out here with the Army uniform on, trying to do something that the King did back in 1977. Do you remember that? Now, Coco, like I said, man, the problem is it's a situation of people that are wannabes, shouldn't be's. Charlie, you're right where you belong. You're a stooge, and that's all you'll ever be in this business. I'm sorry. I'm telling it like it is, and it may hurt.
Wait just a minute. So what you're trying to say, Mr. King, Mr. WWF Superstar, you want to come out here and talk about us, talk about all those guys who work hard like we're peons. Is that it? Well, what I want you to do is I want you to look around you. And I think there's 5 of us. And the 5 of us, what we should do, because we don't want you here, these people don't need you here, we should roll you in that ring. We should beat the crap out of you, and then we should throw you out in the parking lot where the garbage belongs. That's what we should do to you.
Is that right, Coco? That's what you should do? Well, let me say this. You're saying you should roll me in the ring, beat the crap out of me, and throw me out in the parking lot. Because there's 5 of you, and there's only 1 of me. But you know what, Brandon? Let me just say this. You 5 might be able to do that, and you might not be able to do that, because there is only 5 of you and there's 1 of me. But let me say this, and let me make this perfectly clear. If you guys decide to do that, well, then next week, I would bring all of my little WWF friends right here to this TV station. Hey, and you guys can lock the doors and you can bar the windows, but I promise you, we'll kick them in and we'll kick the crap out of each and every one of you guys. Do you understand?
Guys, come on. We don't. I guess we'll just take our chance. Hey, come on. Hey, come on, guys. Brandon Baxter egging this whole thing on, and now, yeah, they like that 5 against 1, but look at Lawler. He's holding his own against all of them. Yeah, they want to jump on Jerry. Oh, here comes Colin in. So now that makes it 6 against 1. Lawler taking care. Oh, here's Slash out. Oh, Slash calling for that neck breaker, and yeah, he does it. Puts that neck breaker on Lawler. 6 against 1. Rips his shirt off. Come on, guys. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to. Well, I want to forewarn you what Lawler said. And that was that he'd bring all of his guys and friends from the WWF back next week. And I think these guys apparently didn't hear him. Where are they going now? Up against the board back in the back. Well, they're headed toward the parking lot, it looks like.
And the window broke.
It just busted. It's gone. The glass.
Wow. Just well. What a powerful segment. Kind of recap in your mind that segment and then preview what we'll see next Monday, and then I'll preview what we'll do tomorrow.
That was unlike anything ever on Memphis Wrestling Television. And just watching that segment up against the rest of the show feels like 2 completely different shows, 2 completely different situations. But I think the best way to probably really describe that is what it set up there at the end. How else better to set up the fact that the King and everybody from Memphis Championship Wrestling was going to come to Power Pro Wrestling that next week. And, you know, for all the people that rehearse things and script things and write stuff out, it was clear that the King was out there and for about 15 minutes straight said exactly how he felt. And, you know, personal issues draw money, Randy, right?
Sure does. What will we see next week?
Next week will be the October 14th, 2000 edition. How do we follow this up? Several interviews to start things out. We'll see the Spellbinder and the Superstar Bill Dundee. The Regulators and Slick Rick will be out for an interview, as well as Slash and Brandon Baxter. The Ultimate Victory Tournament. We'll get into the finals next week on the Power Hour. All that is coming up, and it will be a really interesting show. As we get to the end, you'll see all of Memphis Championship Wrestling invades the studios at WMC TV5. It's going to be another big show next week, Randy.
Appointment viewing next week, next Monday night for the Power Hour. So make sure you join us. I appreciate everybody. Great to see people back on Twitter watching, of course, YouTube, Facebook, every place we go. And the Power Hour back here next Monday. Now, real excited about talking Memphis wrestling, and we have a caption for that. A big show. We're kind of getting out of our comfort zone and doing something different tomorrow. We talked about Memphis Championship Wrestling and KAW Kick-Ass Wrestling. The owner and founder of that company, Terry Golden, will be with me live tomorrow. I talked to him right before we went off on the air. Terry Golden will be here, talk about Power Pro Wrestling and Memphis Championship Wrestling. Terry and I have a huge announcement about a huge event coming up in West Tennessee toward the end of September that will include Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame and much more. Just a tremendous show coming up tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Adam, final words real quick. Last take from Adam Dunn.
Tremendous show tonight. Glad that we're back on Twitter. Glad to see good numbers on this show tonight for the return of Jerry the King Lawler. These Power Pro shows, they've been great so far. We'll see the Ultimate Victory Tournament wrap up next week, and we'll see the invasion of Power Pro Wrestling. And then in the weeks to come, we'll have all the developmental talent from the World Wrestling Federation back on the Power Hour for several months to come. So good stuff coming up, and can't wait for tomorrow night. Glad to see Terry Golden to be on the show for the first time ever to talk about what's coming up and to talk about KAW and MCW. I'm looking forward to getting his perspective and looking forward to those big announcements coming up tomorrow night, Randy.
PJ is in the house. Kevin, you might be right. Todd, talking about somebody coming soon. It's been an explosive Power Hour, explosive talking Memphis Wrestling. For Adam Dunn, I'm Randy Hills. Good night, everybody, and thanks for watching Power Pro Wrestling.
Power Pro Wrestling. Power Pro Wrestling.